Do you think there are really some computers up there in the clouds? Then, why is it called cloud computing? Is cloud computing just an illusion? Let's find out if there is really such a thing as cloud computing. To understand cloud computing, we need to understand what a computer is and what computing is. A computer is something that can do calculations by taking inputs. After it is done, it will produce an output. Take a calculator for example. You input some numbers and perform some arithmetic operations. Once the calculator has done the operations, it will produce an output. Your mobile phone is a more sophisticated computer. A laptop is an even more sophisticated computer. Usually in a company you have a group of such computers. They're connected to each other using wires which enable them to communicate with each other. This is similar to making a phone call. In fact, you can think of computers like phones connected via network cables as if they are making calls to each other and talking. When a company keeps all its computers in a dedicated building, you could call it a data center. But there are companies which also purely manages computers in specific locations. Of course, they are buildings which have computers, but they have other features built into them. This could be called data center providers. Now that we know what a computer is, and how they are connected, and what they are called when stored in special locations, we could go ahead and define cloud computing. Cloud computing is actually a bunch of computers managed by a company in various data centers across the world which are made available to you through the internet. Remember we talked about computers talking to each other similar to us talking over phone? The internet is the same. It is like millions and millions of phones connected and talking to each other. In the case of cloud computing, they are just computers, and similar to phone calls, they make network connections. Therefore, you can use your computer to connect to a computer provided by a cloud computing provider. Another way to think about it is like this. Let's say you are good in math. For simplicity, let's call you a math teaching resource. That's right. In this example, you're a resource that can be used to teach math. Now, your friend needs some help in simple math problems. How do you teach her? You can ask her to walk over to your house so that you can teach her. But you can also ask her to just call you and then you can teach her over the phone. So if you were considered a resource she can use to learn mathematics, she just decided to use the phone to use you rather than walking over. Who invented cloud computing? Where did the term come from? Well, nobody knows for certain. But it sure sounds cool. The term cloud in the technology world goes way back to when the internet was formed in the 1950s. However, cloud computing actually started much later, in the earliest years of this millennium. That's right, somewhere in the early 2000s, Google and a few other companies started something revolutionary. What was this revolution? Can we truly call it one? Let's find out.